am Tyrel, and this is basically Disneyland, Fantasyland. And I started about 3 years ago when I was 12 in the castle. But then, of course, Lego came out with their own Disney World castle, so I was like, I have to one-up them. And so I went with the back of Fantasyland as well. And basically, it's a pretty spot-on replica, more condensed just because of size constraints and that kind of stuff. But it has a moving ride in the back. We can start with that because that's a pretty important part that's noticeable. So the Peter Pan ride is a rotating system. Basically, it's just an axle going underneath the ground, and it's worked pretty well so far. I've kind of been fortunate because when I got here, it wasn't working at first, but it came together nicely. Basically, there's regular brick stuff lights in there. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Peter Pan's Flight are over here. You can look and see what's in there. It's kind of a sick ride for children, really, because it ends in hell, so it's not it's not really the best.
They maybe didn't think that through all the way.
It's not really the best. Yeah, it's not a sweet Disney story. Let's just say that. And then there's Pinocchio's Daring Journey over here. Lego came out with Disney minifigures, so that's kind of a big advantage that I had coming into this. But they didn't come out with Pinocchio, so I had to kind of just go with the main theme of the building. And I'm pretty happy with how the roof came off with that. And overall, I think it turned out pretty nicely. There's the whale down there and that. And there's Snow White Scary Adventures in here. Basically kind of the forest, the Forbidden Apple, and all that kind of stuff. And then in here, there's Bippity Boppity Boutique, which is basically a store where you can just get your hair done and that kind of stuff. So I've never been in there, but I saw enough pictures where I kind of looked at that, and there's some diagonal tile flooring in there, a nice mirror on the other side. It's kind of all condensed, so it's hard to see, but it's, yeah, I was pretty happy with that. And then the castle, this one took the longest just because it's the castle, so it's pretty big. And got some lights on the side. It's basically all lit from the inside out, and then it does that. The tree, the branches are flipped over so the flowers can pop up, and then this is also an upside down built bird, so it can sit on the branch. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really nice display here. So much to look at. You've got the water portion out here that kind of introduces the build. And then if you can, talk a little bit more about kind of the inner courtyard there, some of the minifigs and the design that you've got going on.
Yeah. So basically, I try to make every building kind of unique with, the rooftops and just like the whole, element of people walking through. Disney's a very crowded place, so I really try to illustrate that in here. The Disney minifigures overall, I got, the Aladdin to Alice in Wonderland and all that kind of stuff going on. There's lines going on here as well. Just the overall, it's basically that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I love a good roof technique on a building, and these couple here especially stand out. So what'd you do with kind of the patterns of the colors of bricks and everything to achieve those?
Yeah, one of my shirts is actually this pattern, and I was kind of inspired by that, and so I was like, I'm going to go with that. And
a nice like plaid look there.
And so I like the colors. It really blended in, and it didn't. Every other building's so brown. I kind of wanted something to pop, and so I threw some red in there, and I think it turned out nicely with the black. It didn't blend in too much with the regular building. There's a garbage can I used as a smokestack. And then this obviously is a little bit of a curved, slanted design. I'm not really good at the lingo there, but it's, you get what I'm saying. And and then over here, this one, the roof, I'm pretty happy with that. This, I regretted doing this because it was so many tiles. Went way over what I expected. I watched a YouTube video how to do it, and I was like, oh, this is going to be so cool. And then it was like, oh, darn it, this is going to cost so much more money than I thought. So, yeah.
And then you've got this nice spinning display here. So how did you decide to set it up at the show like this?
I didn't really think about it when I was building it. It was a kind of a problem at the end, though, because it has four sides. Everything's so different. Everything's so special and unique. I wanted everyone to see it. So we did a Lazy Susan, basically, on a table that's spray painted with plastic dip black. And it blends in nicely with the black table, and it's really easy to spin. My one regret, obviously, would be that my hands, I don't have any motor connected to the table, so I've been spinning it for about 4 hours now, so my fingers are basically numb. But
this is all manual here.
This is all manual, but yeah, it's nice to see people's reactions and that kind of stuff. And there's also music that goes with it as well that can slide right under here, but unfortunately, the batteries ran out, so that is not going to be happening right now, but yeah.
Well, it's a great display here, and I can really tell a lot of thought and detail went into it, so thanks so much for bringing it to the show, and thanks for chatting with me. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.